It's not well practiced, and it also has really small writing. So come on up if you want to see it and sing along the words. I would love it. It seems like it would really work for hand movements, like throwing and reaching
blowing in the wind.
blowing. You can make those up. I don't know. More and stuff.
But a good kind of stretch,
Yeah.
connect your roots with your toes.
Oh,
And not do throwing, yeah.
and too much about it's a reminder for me that spring is coming, like the sap is starting to come up in the trees even before we can see the spring.
Trees grow slow, trees grow strong, trees blow in the wind, all night long. Trees hold the ground as they reach for the sky. Fallen trees still need their seed, they pass before they die. Trees grow slow, and trees grow strong, and trees blow in the wind, they hold life long. Trees hold the ground as they reach for the sky. Fallen trees still need their seeds, they pass before they die.
Connect to your trees.
So, next time we can do that one again.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you get these moving.
Yeah.
Okay, understood.
So, thank you. Thank you so much, guys. So, as usual, we are going to, do mountains and our way in. And for those of you guys who want to sit in the special seats right in the middle, we can set up, we're right inside the door. Right, we're not pushing. So please remember, they're not, so we're not gonna throw them around, we need to make sure that we don't. Yeah, here, if you wanna take your seats right up front, so we can do that. Okay, so let's start. Follow along with us. to the service today. The first thing that we do together is 3 prostrations, and prostrations are a way for us to connecting to the earth itself, and it helps us to be stable, to connect to our Mother Earth. So let's all stand up. If you don't have the ability to do a full prostration, you definitely can just bow. But for those of us who can, let's go for it. So all of you guys who know what you're doing, please come help me so that everyone can see us do our 3 prostrations, okay? Are you ready? We may bow. Put our hands up. Come down to our knees. We look at the Buddha. Come down. Forehead touching the ground. Feel the earth beneath you. We come up again. Kneel, we go back down. Hands up. And back up. And we bow. Okay, if everyone could find a place to sit, a sit spot, we are going to sit for about 5 minutes. And for those of us who can manage doing that for 5 minutes, we have a very special treat afterwards. I'm going to ring the bell now. Let's all try to be quiet. Feel the air going through your nose. Filters every single breath you take. Imagine in your mind's eye the little nose hairs filtering everything out. How pure air comes to your lungs. How our lungs help us every moment of every day. And as you're sitting, I want you to imagine yourself as a mountain. You're sitting stable and straight, strong, balanced, stable. And the clouds that come into your mind, or the thoughts that come into your mind, are just passing clouds. So let them pass by. Attention, Hapchung, Sincere Heart, Heart Center. How do we make that? For those of you who are grown-ups, you're going to have additional time to meditate today. But for all of us right now together, we're going to stand up again and we're going to do the 3 refuges together. Okay? Do I need to put this on? Should I? No? Everyone can hear? Okay, so as we're standing, let's put our hands in Hapchung and repeat after me. Buddha, the awakened one.
Buddha, the awakened one.
And the awakened heart in us all.
The awakened heart in us all.
And the living force of peace.
And the living force of peace.
May I take refuge in the Buddha.
May I take refuge in the Buddha.
Let me make that. Dharma, the teachings of the Buddha.
Dharma, the teachings of the Buddha.
Moral discipline and wisdom.
Moral discipline and wisdom.
May I take refuge in the Dharma.
May I take refuge in the Dharma.
Sangha,
Sangha,
the happy and joyous community of all living beings.
the happy and joyous community of all living beings.
May I take refuge in the Sangha.
May I take refuge in the Sangha.
Thank you, everyone. So be seated and be comfortable. We're going to have a story, and then I'm going to ask a couple of you to come up and help me. So for now, I wanted to introduce myself. My name is Haiyun. I am a Dharma teacher here at the temple. And most of you I know, some of you I don't know, and I look forward to getting to know. So this is the Lunar New Year celebration of the rabbit this year. Did everyone know this is the rabbit year? Okay, good. All right, so I thought I would tell a story about a rabbit named Loving Kindness today. So, Loving Kindness, this is, for those of you who are Buddhist scholars in the room, this is from the Sosa Jataka, which is buried deep inside the Digha Nikaya. So you can look it up. Okay. And our version doesn't digress too much from that. So there was a rabbit named Loving Kindness. And Loving Kindness lived in a mountain that was 3 mountains over from Mount Everest in Himalayas. All right. So he lived 3 mountains over. That's important to remember. 2/3 of the way up, she had a cave. And so she lived in that cave. And you know what she loved to do? First of all, she loved to help her friends, and she loved to help people who needed things, who also lived on the mountain. There were other animals that lived there. So when they didn't have food, when they didn't have a place to stay, Loving Kindness always invited them into her cave. And the other thing that she loved to do more than anything was dance. She had this beautiful space right in front of her cave that was ice because it was so cold up there, always freezing. She was totally white. You know how animals like polar bears are always white because they live so far north in the pole. So she was white and she loved to dance. Do you know what music she liked to dance to?
Disco?
It was not Bad Bunny, I can tell you that, because she was a good bunny. She followed the precepts. So, Loving Kindness had the Northern Lights, Aurora Borealis. It was like a giant kind of dance floor with all different colors. She loved disco music. Yeah! Don't blame it on sunshine. Don't blame it on moonlight. Don't blame it on good times. Blame it on the boogie. Don't blame it on sunshine. Don't blame it on moonlight. Don't blame it on good times. Blame it on the boogie. Okay, so she was out there, but she also had 4 really good friends. We all know it's good to have friends. All right, first friend for loving kindness was this crazy dude named Yukon Cornelius. He had a red hat. He had this like jagged mustache and a beard. He was this crazy dude. She also had a friend who was amazingly an elf who was also a dentist. Imagine that. And then she had a friend who was an abominable snowman who had no teeth. Imagine that. And then she had another friend that was a little deer. Well, how did they get into this story? I don't know, but they're here. So these are her friends. And so they together loved to boogie. They just were out on the ice skating, dancing, singing, jumping in the air, loving kindness everywhere. So one day they were all out there just having a great time together. And who shows up? Flowing white robes, brown skin radiant. It was amazing. They were in the presence of the Buddha. Yep, the Buddha showed up at their mountain cave. And loving kindness knew immediately who it was. And she ran over and she did 3 prostrations. And each time her ears went, and it helped her to feel herself on the earth just like we did. So she went over and did those 3 prostrations. She's like, Buddha, what are you doing at our cave? He said, well, dear friends, I'm looking for a place for a retreat. It's really become kind of hard to deal with out down at the monastery. I just need some time away. So I'm wondering if I could have a little personal retreat in your cave. And we're all like chattering. What do we do? Buddha wants to have a retreat in our cave. Oh, no. Yes. How many days will you be there? Well, I was thinking like 7 years. Would that be good? And like 7 years? Buddha, would it be okay if we still sing and dance while you're here? Because that's really important to us. He said, yes, that's why I was attracted to this cave. It had such a spirit of joy and loving kindness. So I would love it if you'd sing and dance. And by the way, when I'm in the deep, deep practice of samadhi, I tune everything out anyway. So it's all good. So for 3 years, they were in their cave. They were outside dancing and having a good time. And the Buddha was facing the wall, meditating and having a good time in his own way. And they're out there and they hear a phone ring. Ring, ring. It was the Buddha's phone that was ringing. Oh my God. And then they hear the Buddha pick up his phone. He's like, Paramita Productions, this is Gotami. Can I help you? Sorry, Putra. Why are you calling me? Can't you handle this? Trouble with the monks? Oh my gosh. Sorry, Putra, can't you handle this? I'm in the middle of this meditation retreat and I've only been 3 years at it. And oh, the monks are arguing? Oh no. The monks are pulling each other's hair? Wait, they're not even supposed to have hair. What's going on down there? I better get down there. So he clicks off the phone and he says to our crew, he says, I've got to leave. I'm so sorry. There's something going down there and I have to be down there to handle it. So they're like, oh no, the Buddha has to leave. No. But then they looked at the Buddha and the Buddha went from his beautiful brown skin to like blue skin and then purple skin. And then he had, the Buddha has long ears. And so he had like icicles hanging off his ears and ice popping from his head. Well, you know what? It was 185 degrees below zero in that cave. And so when the Buddha was in meditation, he didn't know it. But when he came out of meditation, suddenly he was freezing. So our friends were like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, we have to keep the Buddha from freezing to death. So they're running all around. What should we do? And of course, our heroines, loving kindness, said, stop. We have to make a fire. So they're like, So the little elf is like, I have dental floss, that will help. And then the little deer was like, oh, I have little chips of bark that I eat during the winter, that will help. And the abominable snowman had so much fur always coming off. He was shedding all the time. So he put some fur in. And it just so happened that Yukon Cornelius in his sled had wood. So they made this beautiful fire. But how do they start the fire? Oh my gosh. But our friend Loving Kindness knew what to do. She ran to the back of the cave and she found this stone. And we call it a flint stone. And when you hit it just right, it will spark and make a fire. So she had really big teeth, as rabbits do. So she went, and it had a little spark. And she put it down there with her little rabbit that shoot. The fire started coming up, and it started warming them all. And the Buddha went from purple to blue to his normal brown. And so they were like, phew, we saved the Buddha's life, thank goodness. So Loving Kindness went and nestled right next to the Buddha. She was so happy that he was okay. And suddenly they heard this, it sounded like an avalanche. They're like, what's now? What's now? And you know what it was? It was the Buddha's stomach, because the Buddha hadn't eaten in 3 years. So it was like the loudest stomach growl you've ever heard. And you know, we talked last time that the Buddha lived on 1 sesame seed a day at one point, and a sesame seed would have been a Thanksgiving dinner at this point. There was nothing. And the Buddha eyes the wall, and he sees his shoes. It's like, they look mighty tasty. And Yukon Cornelius is like, you cannot eat your shoes, Buddha. You'll not be able to get on the mountain if you eat your shoe. He's like, I know. I'm going to order a pizza. So he gets his phone out. And he presses speed dial, because he has pizza delivery on speed dial. And he calls, and the other line was like, hi, Cottage and Pizza, this is Dave speaking. How can I help you? And he's like, Dave, I need a pizza quickly. My friend is, I can see every rib in his rib cage. He really needs to eat right now. I need a pizza delivered. Oh, sure, dude. That's no problem. What size? Oh, large. I need a large Buddha. For the Buddha, I need really big. Okay, the biggest you got. No problem. What would you like on the pizza, Yukon Cornelius? I think we want Buddha. You're vegetarian, right? Okay. We want onions and green peppers, or maybe that's mushrooms and green. Yeah, mushrooms and green peppers. Okay, dude. Mushrooms and pepperoni. No. Not pepperoni. Peppers. We want green peppers. Mushrooms and green peppers. Okay, dude. Mushrooms, green peppers. You got it. All right. So how long will it be, Dave? Oh, we have a 30-minute delivery. No problem. All right, Dave. We are at the third mountain over from Mount Everest. We are 2/3 the way up in a cave. It has a fire. You cannot miss it. Okay, cool, dude. Let me just look that up. Oh, I don't know, Yukon Cornelius. You are 7,439 miles away from our zone that we deliver in. But this is important. My friend is going to eat his shoe if he doesn't get a pizza. Sorry, man. I got 2 drivers out sick. I just can't do it. We can't get there. It's 7,439 miles away. Oh, click. Rats. So the little deer picks out from his little satchel a piece of bark that he lives on all of year round. And he said, Buddha, try this. And Buddha was like, well, maybe it's like jerky. He was like, didn't really work. He could not even get his teeth through it all. So that didn't work. And they're like, what are we going to do? What am I going to do? What are we going to do? And Loving Kindness had a plan. So Loving Kindness, they're all sort of running around. The Buddha's starving. They don't know what to do. Loving Kindness quietly goes up the hill, and she looks down, and she sees all of her friends there, and she sees the Buddha, and she sees the fire going, and she leaps off the hill and into the fire. And then out of the fire, this huge like jettison happens of a lotus blossom, and loving kindness is right in the middle of the lotus blossom and shooting into the air. And loving kindness says, never forget the Brahma-Viharas. And she shoots up into the sky. And what was like this blizzard going on outside, suddenly the snowflakes turned into marshmallows. Oh my God, it was snowing marshmallows. And suddenly the little deer's bark turned into Hershey's chocolate. Imagine that. And suddenly Yukon Cornelius's wood turned into graham crackers. Ah, so they all had s'mores, and then the Buddha was no longer hungry. But they were so grateful to loving kindness, who's now up in the sky. And they said, this is just our friend, this is amazing. It was such a beautiful moment that the Buddha gave them the precepts right there on the spot. And he gave them their Dharma names. So he gave to the little dentist, who was the little elf, the name Equanimity. He said, you are now known as Equanimity. To the abominable snowman with no teeth, he gave the name Compassion. And to the little deer, he gave the name Empathetic Joy. Joy for short. Now, Yukon Cornelius had such a cool name to begin with that the Buddha said, I'm going to give you the Buddhist name of Yukon. You're from the Yu family, so you'll be Yukon. Okay. So they all had a name. But we come back to our dilemma. The Buddha had to get down the hill to the monastery. How would they do that? There's a blizzard going on outside. I think you know what's happening now. Because of all the warmth in the room and the loving kindness, the little deer's nose turned red. And suddenly they could see. So they all hopped in Yukon Cornelius's sled, and they went rushing down the mountain back to the monastery. And while they were in the air, the Buddha yelled, never forget the Brahma-Viharas. They are the secret to everything, the divine abodes. And to this day, in Asian cultures, there is a tradition of a rabbit in the moon. Like we have thought about the man in the moon, they have the rabbit in the moon. And I was told yesterday that the rabbit in the moon actually is making rice cakes. So the next time you look up at the moon, I want you to look for loving kindness. Okay? So we have our mudra that's sincere heart. Today we're going to learn a new mudra, and this is the mudra of loving kindness heart. Can everyone do this? The mudra of loving kindness heart. And I want you to repeat after me. I love loving kindness.
I love loving kindness.
Bodhisvaha!
Bodhisvaha!
All right, to close our family service, which I know we have to get going in just a couple minutes, I've asked Brandon to come up and read something. It's called the Metta Sutta, which is the meditation on loving kindness. Come on up and sit with me, Brandon. All right, and I need another volunteer to come ring the bell. Can you do it? Okay, come on up. The only thing I ask, the only thing I ask is when I put my finger up, that Brandon pauses, and David, when you see my finger, you ring the bell. Okay, so ring it now first. Everybody listen very carefully. Put our hands in hot tone, please.
This is what should be done by one who is skilled in goodness and who knows the path of peace. Let them be able and upright, straightforward and gentle in speech, humble and not conceited and easily satisfied, contented and easily satisfied, unburdened with duties and frugal in their ways, peaceful and calm, and wise and skillful. Peace, no, not proud and demanding in nature. Let them not do the slightest thing that the wise would later reprove. Wishing in gladness and in safety, may all beings be at ease. Whatever living beings there may be, whether they are weak or strong, omitting none, the great or the mighty, medium, short or small, the seen and unseen, those living near and far away, those born to and to be born, may all beings be at ease. Let none deceive another or despise another being, any being in any state. Let none through anger or ill will wish harm upon another, as even as a mother protects with her life her child, her only child. So with a boundless heart should one cherish all living beings. Radiating kindness over the entire world, spreading upwards to the skies and downwards to the depths, outwards and unbounded, freed from hatred and ill will, whether standing or walking, seated or lying down, free from drowsiness, one should sustain this recollection.
That concludes our family service. Thank you, Brandon. Thank you, David. We will end with making a bow together, and then we'll walk out with mountain chanting.
Good.
Okay, so let's just make 3 bows mindfully together. We're going to have a, we'll just stand up and stretch a little bit before we sit down. And, what did we do? Just in a couple of stretches, because sometimes you don't know what to do when you've got. So, just, put your thumb and your fingers together. And reach up. Inhaling, and then exhaling down. Bending your knees a little bit, and then again. Then, sit down, that's it. And then taking your left hand over the right leg and twisting the right arm right around behind you. Fold your body forward and look back. And then bend up. Inhaling and exhaling on the other side. And breathe out. And then push up your legs over the head. And then this one. It is like you're in a box. Except that you go out, then you're up, open hand, and turn. Feel that through the shoulder and back, and then come up, tuck in, and bring back. The other one. Knees a little bit bent. Once more on each side. Do it slowly so that you can feel it in your whole body, drawing your hands. And this one is raising up on the toes. With the concentration point with your eyes, it helps you down and down, leaning back on your heels, straight up. And one more time. It's supposed to be very good for your kidney. Okay, shake a little bit. And then please sit down for a seated meditation. That's it. We say, compose yourself. You are a seeker. And it starts with taking care of your body as best you can. And I've done this with many of you before. Gently move your hip bones forward, almost invisibly. The sternum is above the top of the chest. Gently lift it.
feeling how it affects your body. Release your shoulders very imperceptibly and draw your shoulder blades together imperceptibly. All of the working with your energy to have a stable, imbalanced posture. That's what the Buddha said. Find your place, quiet, and maintain a single posture, a stable posture. And then he said, breathing in a long breath, and aware of breathing in a long breath, and breathing out a long breath, breathing out, breathing out, long breath. Breathing in a short breath, and breathing out a short breath, and being aware of that. And the third guideline, breathing in and feeling the breathing in with your whole body, and breathing out, feeling the whole breath in your body. So let's continue in this way with just each breath, where you may gain access to your ever-residing resilience, spaciousness, luminosity. So, thoughts will come and go. Be aware of them, allowing them. It's normal. And keep going back to your one breath. However it is. Be the witness. You stretch your legs if you need to, and still keep your awareness that you're breathing in your body, in your nostrils. Just being aware of what one breath is like. Counts. A bright, cold February morning. Shadows and light intermingle. And 2 days away from Valentine's Day. Yet here we are. Just this. Just now. Just here. When one breath comes. May I read once again the Metta Sutta, which Brendan read for us when all the children were here. So bring your hands palm to palm. And I think close your eyes. And make yourself, your whole body receptive to the sounds and the meanings which come with these sounds. This is a different way to learn rather than trying to get it into your head. Metta Sutta, meditation on loving kindness. This is what should be done by one who is skilled in goodness and who knows the path of peace. Let them be able and upright, straightforward and gentle in speech, humble and not conceited, contented and easily satisfied, unburdened with duties and frugal in their ways, peaceful and calm and wise and skillful, not proud and demanding in nature. Let them not do the slightest thing which the wise would later reprove, wishing in gladness and in safety, may all beings be at ease. Whatever living beings there may be, whether they are weak or strong, omitting none, whether they the great or the mighty, medium, short, or small, the seen and the unseen, those living near and far away, those born and to be born. May all beings be at ease. Let none deceive another or despise any being in any state. Let none through anger or ill will wish harm upon another. Even as a parent protects with their life their child, their only child, so with a boundless heart should one cherish all living beings, radiating kindness over the entire world, spreading upwards to the skies and downwards to the depths, outwards and unbounded, freed from hatred and ill will, whether standing or walking, seated or lying down, free from drowsiness, one should sustain this recollection. This is said to be the sublime abiding. Please bring your hands together, palm to palm in sincere heart, making gentlemen. Good morning. It's nice to see some of you we haven't seen for a long time. Welcome back, and how many of you are here for the first time this morning? Welcome. And all those in between. Usually around this time of year, close to Valentine's Day, we talk about what's love in Buddhism. And Hayun, when she told the story, made reference to love in Buddhism includes what are called the four Brahma-viharas, heavenly abodes, and of loving kindness, compassion, equanimity, and sympathetic joy. So those combine to make a formal Buddhist definition of love. But I would say also that the qualities of suchness are also about love. The qualities of suchness, as it is, in this moment, intimate, immediate, spontaneous, and obvious. And with something, with someone, whatever the moment offers. Love arises when duality drops. Not me and them, it's just this. It takes a while to have that experience. And so the Buddhist teachings didn't just come out of his intellect, sort of here, just begin to spout something. It was always in response to situations which the members of the Sangha would bring before him, or what things that would happen in the Sangha. And so then he would respond in response to whatever the incident was. And the incident that where we get this metta sutta and the whole idea of loving kindness was when some monks had gone off to practice on their own in a forest. And they sat around the underneath of the trees. For some reason, they could not get down to meditation. Their meditation was full of what they were being bothered by the spirits of the tree. Very irritating, because they had received their instructions. Be aware when the breath is short. Be aware when it's long. Be aware when it's in your whole body, etc. There's 17 of those. And they just couldn't get it. So they came back to the Buddha, walking some distance, and they offered their complaint. And this Metta Sutta was his response to their complaints. So just to give you that little thing about the whole, it's kind of a rising of the spirit of love, sincere heart in Buddhism. But this morning it came to me, I've been kind of crabby all week. I had a cold, and living with people can make you crabby. It's usually not about them, it's about me. So when I become irritated, when we don't love everybody, we know the first precept, not to harm but to cherish all life. What's the practice then? We've got to practice loving people, compassion, equanimity, sympathetic joy. But what if it's not like that? What if it's a big mess? And someone brought up, well, we should be learning about repentance, atonement, starting fresh. So there's a repentance Spada. And I want to bring up the word repentance because sometimes I think repentance is seen as some kind of awful thing that we have to do. But the word repentance, repentance is like do. And repentance is about redoing. May I redo this? We have a chance to do again, and perhaps more skillfully. There's a verse of repentance that I learned a while ago. It's actually called atonement. And if you look at atonement, there's 3 words: at, one, meant. Getting back to non-duality. At one meant to come together. So here's this old atonement number. All my ancient twisted karma, born of anger, greed, and delusion, rising from body, speech and mind, I now fully avow. Interesting, ancient twisted karma. Karma is action. Basically, that's what the word means. Not fate so much, but action. All my ancient twisted karma. It means that each of us goes back a long time to our parents and our grandparents, etc., etc. So what we bring is not only this ancient twisted karma, actions, but our own developed in this lifetime. And all of these are caused by anger, greed, grasping, and when I do that, you can feel it in the body. Greed, grasping, you can feel it in the body. And the other one is ignorance, born of ignorance. Anger, greed, and ignorance. Ignorance is blindness, not seeing things clearly. Sometimes the word avidya is used, which is no light, lack of clarity. So our karma, our ancient twisted karma, is a result of this grasping and this aversion and this blindness. So when we come to start to deal with our irritations and our feeling not very loving at all, we need to see clearly what the picture is. Our picture, where it came from, understand. And sometimes we want to try to understand the same thing for the person that we are perhaps irritated with. First, seek to understand rather than to be understood. I was talking with my daughter yesterday, and she has 21 years of sobriety in the AA program. So I asked her, how do you make amendments for your mind? She grew up, for example. And she said that she has 5 SPOT-Cs now, so she's now a person who works with people who are working with their addictions. She said, I always tell people, Mom, that people can only take responsibility for their own versions of anger, greed, and delusion. Not immediately bring in, the other person did this and that. It's solely that you have to start with yourself. And she said, I have them write it on a card because it's so easy for someone to say, you did, you did, you did. Therefore, that I feel like this. And so finding out what it was, that our part in it, sometimes that's looking really deep. And a way to think about this is when we point at the other person or the other situation or the group, whatever it is. 3 fingers pointing back at ourselves. Because that's who we can do something about. Since nobody can get kicked out of the universe. My teacher used to always say. So we can't do much about that right directly. Want to kick them out of the universe? No. But the one that can be worked with is our own self. So I'm choosing to read to you a little section from Thich Nhat Hanh, which is called Beginning Anew. At-one-ment, repentance, means doing again with a little more skill. This one. And so again, would you compose yourself so that you can listen with your whole body. Because everything counts, just as when you were a kid. You sponged up the environment created by your parents, your family. Even now, you sponge up stuff. And it's planted in your layer of consciousness and turns out to be your habits and your tendencies. Everything counts. So here's this beginning anew. However much, this is just a small part of a whole section called Beginning Anew. However much we may have drifted on the ocean of suffering, today we see clearly that there is a beautiful path. We turn toward the light of loving kindness to direct us. We bow deeply to the awakened one and to our spiritual ancestors who light up the path before us, guiding every step. The wrongdoings and sufferings that imprison us are brought about by craving, hatred, ignorance, and pride. Today we begin anew to purify and free our hearts. With awakened wisdom, bright as the sun and the full moon, and immeasurable compassion to help humankind, we resolve to live beautifully. With all of our heart we go for refuge to the three precious jewels, Buddha, Dharma, Sangha. With the boat of loving kindness, we cross over the ocean of suffering. With the light of wisdom, we leave behind the forest of confusion. With determination, we learn, reflect, and practice. Right view is the ground of our actions in body, speech, and mind. Right mindfulness embraces us, walking, standing, lying down and sitting, speaking, smiling, coming in and going out. Whenever anger or anxiety enter our heart, we are determined to breathe mindfully and come back to ourselves. With every step, we will walk within the Pure Land. With every look, the Dharmakaya of true suchness, spaciousness, non-ego, resilience is revealed. We are careful and attentive as sense organs touch sense objects, so all habit energies can be observed and easily transformed. May our heart's garden of awakening bloom with hundreds of flowers. May we bring the feelings of peace and joy into every household. May we plant wholesome seeds on the 10,000 paths. May we never have the need to leave the Sangha body. May we never attempt to escape the suffering of the world. Always being present wherever beings need our help. May mountains and rivers be our witness in this moment as we bow our heads and vow, may it be so. A kind of crazy wisdom way of looking at our situations of grasping and aversion and blindness is to see them as medicine. They're allowing us the opportunity to heal from them, to repent, to do again. So when we have things arise which are difficult on their own, of course with others, we can see them and move into them as our medicine. To see what we have to learn. Take care of our own side of the street as best we can, trusting that then others will be free to do what they can. And this effort of ours every day, in the morning, through the day, and in the evening. And even we take our love with us to bed to sleep. So we do this transfer of merit. Whatever merit I have gained, From my work with great anger and delusion, I offer for the relief of suffering and peace and happiness of all beings. This is the Bodhisattva work, so please repeat after me. Whatever merit I may have earned from my participation in this service this morning, and my Dharma efforts in my whole life, I offer for the relief of suffering and peace and happiness of all beings. Maha Prajna Paramita. A little louder. Maha Prajna Paramita. Namo Maha Prajna Paramita. Next, may I go to the great boundless Dhamma, resilience, spaciousness. Luminosity in one breath. Let's also do the four great vows, also about the same thing. And then, who's doing announcements?
I think someone.
Someone? Okay. All right, the four great vows. These are the four great Bodhisattva vows. All beings, one body.
All beings, one body.
I vow to liberate.
I vow to liberate.
Blind passions, one root.
Blind passions, one root.
I vow to terminate.
I vow to terminate.
Dharma gates, one mind.
Dharma gates, one mind.
I vow to penetrate.
I vow to penetrate.
The great way of Buddha.
The great way of Buddha.
I vow to realize.
I vow to realize.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's
I say that because our work is before us every day, and hopefully it ends up to be some kind of a happy Valentine's Day. Yeah. When really you are truly in the work, it's a real gift. Okay, dear someone, where are you?
Back here.
Okay. Arun is one of our Dharma guardians and
Dharma workers too.
Dharma workers, and comes volunteer almost every Saturday if he's in town.
Yeah, you're all welcome to come. I know right now is not exactly working outdoors weather, but we're getting there. It's Saturdays, 3 to 5 is when I'm here.
Yesterday we were shoveling chicken shit.
Yeah, huge pile that moved to the garden.
Yeah.
Are we doing a work practice after today's service?
No, let's see how many people are free.
We have some more after.
Oh, the children are building a campfire in the backyard and we invite everybody to go back to have s'mores. That's, I guess, the
Okay, yeah,
project.
that'll be good. Yeah, it was nice to see you all. I didn't usually see everyone coming in, but since I was in the back for the older people coming in, didn't see you all, but it's nice to now. So I'm just going to deliver a few announcements about upcoming events here at the temple. One that really brought to my attention, we've got an introductory meditation course coming up, and it's on February 16th. It starts. That's Thursday. So this Thursday, and I believe it's for 5-week sessions. And one thing that's new, you may have seen it as you walk by in the lobby. There's a flyer, color printout, but it's also got a QR code now, so you can either get information from that or register directly from it. And you can also just take one with you as you go. We have fun. So that would be good. We also have a retreat coming up, a one-day retreat on Saturday, which is in 2 weekends, I believe. I think that's roughly 9 to 5 or so, here, maybe in the temple building. It's a good way to really put to work some of the stuff you've been learning about meditation, or actually learning new things about meditation. We've also got yoga classes still here on Tuesday evenings. David Black is an instructor. I like to come to those. They're 6:30 to 8. Tuesdays, yeah. Yeah. And feel free to show up and see if you like it. Good chance you up.
Yeah, but if you don't like it, that's medicine. It's always like that when, I don't like this, but what's this about? We have to rise to that. This class, I'm saying it because it takes a little while to appreciate his classes. He has a kind of old traditional style. He has not heated up the room. He's not playing music. He's being very direct in his instruction. And sometimes it takes a while to appreciate that when you're in a culture where you just have to look at your phone and you're immediately, The yoga class will be challenging because of whatever your body's like. However, it ended up here over the years of karma. Is it? Boy, that's
Yeah.
something.
Being embodied as we speak. And I really noticed that today too, when we were talking about feeling our presence here. It's like after 15 minutes of meditation, it was like, yeah, that's totally what's going on. I'm just standing here. Or lying here is an option too, I guess. And then we've also got special meditation, BIPOC meditation. Are you all familiar with the initials, Black and Indigenous Person of Color? If you feel like you're any part of that, come here to meditate. 3 o'clock on Saturday, so about the same time as the work practice. And there's also an online portion of that as well. Let's see. So I think I've covered basically everything. Are there groups going on? I imagine there's Dharma Recovery.
Recovery Dharma will meet at noon in the old temple, the house next door, the yellow one.
Today?
Noon today.
Yeah, that was good. What was I thinking? I have a special thing for today. Apparently on Monday, the University of Michigan's bringing a class of people here, probably to meditate. And so Mom asked us to leave the Madison Christians the way they are today, not need to return some of them back to the sex.
Although it would be nice if you straighten them out, smooth the wrinkles, plump the cushion, make it nice for the next person coming.
Hey, Mom, could you just give some specific instructions? Because not everybody's taken the meditation course and knows how to do that.
All right? Oh, I will demonstrate. I'm going to use this one because mine needs attention, but this one particularly needs attention. So if you can see, it has a lot of wrinkles in it. And so I'm taking the cushion off, smoothing out all the wrinkles. And in the very front, the part that touches the mat is up funded. So I'm taking my hands and just tucking it in there very neatly. And then the cushion, there's a handle at the back. So to plump the cushion, you put it on its side and just rotate, pushing, so you come back to that handle, and then the handle gets placed toward the back. So hopefully, you know that was a lot of instructions, so maybe you got at least 30% of it. That would be helpful. Thank you.
Okay, so let's stand.
Yeah, I was just gonna say one thing, we're 100% crowdsourced. We do all the work, we do all the donations here at the temple, so if you wanna get involved, please do. There's a donation bowl outside, there's one over there. There's work practice, there's classes themselves. So, great place to meet.
And kiss them. And we'll do 3 formal vows. And thank you to all of you who have been with us online. I forget that you're there, but thank you for turning up. Well, a lot of you will have to go that way, but all the sign-up things are over here, so if you wish to, and pick your shoes up and come back.